The Union County Courthouse remodeling project has been completed and ribbon cutting ceremonies for the reworked facility were held Friday, December 15th. A number of county, city, and state officials took part in the ceremonies.
But this is an exciting day for Union County, something a lot of people have been waiting on a long time, and thank you very much for coming. I want to first recognize, and I haven't had time to see if all these people are here, and I hate to call names not knowing if you're here or not, but I'm going to today. This is a selection committee that was responsible for helping us select the architect when he ended up doing the job. It's Jeff Patterson, Elizabeth Patton, Alan Conley, Dwayne Brackett, Judge Stone, Gerald Oimby, Steve Rowe, Marty Godfrey, David George, and Darren Sparks. And I want to thank them again because they did an excellent job. And having said that, I want to ask John Wiles with Rosser International, the architect firm, to come up and just say a few words. They were the ones that designed the building. And I can tell you, once we're in here, they did an amazing job, and we would certainly recommend them to anybody. Please.
Thank you, Lamar. That's mighty nice. Well, we're mighty proud to be part of this. It's been an interesting relationship because I started talking about doing a little gymnasium over here, or looking at some other things for the county, and this is kind of where we ended up doing this project, and it's been a lot of fun. We feel like this will serve you well for a long time. You've got some great court spaces and some great administrative spaces, and I'm just happy to come up here and see the smile on people's faces, particularly Alan Conley, who where is he? There he is, back in the back there. You know, he was the one that was kind of pinched for space up there, and so every time I see him, he has a big, broad smile on his face. Anyway, we thank you very much for letting us be a part of this, and we're mighty proud to be on your team. Thank you very much.
Is Mark down? Yeah, Mark, come over here. I won't make you talk unless you just want to. Mark Staff, and where's Sydney? Sydney? Back over there. Come on up here, Sydney. Sydney was the superintendent on the job, and I'm just telling y'all, we were really blessed to have him here. He and Mark both. Mark is the senior project manager with Merit Construction. They did an absolutely beautiful job. Did we have a few problems along the way? Yeah. Have we still got just a couple of little things we're trying to get fixed? Yeah, we do. But they've done an excellent job. They've been real responsive, and it's been a pleasure to get to work with Merit Construction. I will let you just say a couple of words.
I didn't have a speech prepared. I was going to be okay, but we just appreciate the opportunity, and I hope you all enjoy the facility.
These guys are bashful for some reason. Okay, well, thank y'all very much. Let's give them a hand. I just want to mention some others that were responsible. Reed Dyer with Hayes James, who helped work with Rosser and actually design the parking lot, which is one of the key elements of this project. Jeff Kelly Grading, Mike Patton, Herb Saunders. Where's Herb? Herb's right back over there. Herb has been responsible for overseeing everything, trying to keep me straight, trying to keep our bills straight, approve our budget, and approve our pays. Has been a real asset to the county. And Herb, appreciate all that you've done for us. Carol Owens, where's Carol? With Fowler Furniture. And she's done a great job. It's been a trying job trying to satisfy this many different people in this many different offices and get the right furniture and get it in the right places at the right time. But we've eventually made it with the last chairs, I think, coming in yesterday. Tom and Pat Gray from the Carriage House, all the pictures and the decoration you see throughout the courthouse, they've been responsible for doing that. They've done a fantastic job. Ray Payne, I don't think is Ray in here, he's done landscaping, he and his crew. He borrows some of the guys on probation on the weekends, and they do work all outside the courthouse and do a fabulous job keeping it up. Jeff Burks, who has worked tirelessly and will continue to do so, keeping our computer systems up and going and getting them going in the first place. And then Grinds and Glazes provided food today. Elected officials, and I'm going to ask y'all now, the people that I'm calling out now, plus the architect selection committee, anybody that's here, I would like, as I call your name, to just walk on up here, because we're going to do the ribbon cutting right after I call these names out. As soon as the ribbon cutting's over, we're going to try to give Who in here is going to be giving a tour besides me? We're going to try to take about 10 people each and just start leading you through. We're going to start through Alan's office, go through the back of it, come back out in the jury assembly room. The jury assembly room is just down here on the right, the next room on the right. And we have a slide presentation of some of the construction photos. If you want to stop and look at them, fine. If you don't want to keep walking, fine. But we'll basically make that loop in this lower level, and then you can take the elevator, the steps up, and then we'll continue up there. One more name that was on the list that I failed to mention, Robert and Ganamore. Robert has helped us tremendously with all our security system. Where are you, Robert? Yeah, thank you. I noticed this morning you weren't on the list, and I forgot to write it down. Robert's done a great job and will continue to do so with our security equipment. Mayor Jim Conley, if you'll come work your way up this way. J.W. Payne, Tax Commissioner. Judge Johnny Garman, Magistrate. Judge Dwayne Brackett, Probate. Judge Hugh Stone, where is Judge Stone? Judge Stone's another driving force behind getting a courthouse built, and we got it done just in time for him to retire, but he got the opportunity to use it a little bit first, and we appreciate you, Judge. Judge David Barrett, Murphy Miller Public Defender's Office are located directly above us. Alan Conley, Clerk of Court. Stan Gunner, District Attorney. Sheriff Scott Stevens, B.D. Irwin Coroner, Representative Charles Jenkins. Senator Pearson, I don't think's here. Tommy Stevens, School Superintendent. Tom Murphy, Development Authority. Cindy Williams, Chamber of Commerce. Blue Ridge Mountain EMC. Joe Satterfield and Eric Brinke. So everybody that I've called your name today or introduced you, if you would come on up. And I see a representative from Richardson. They weren't a primary contractor, but they've been here many hours working and trying to get everything going. Herb, come on up here. John, anybody that I've called your name and introduced you today, come on up and we'll all get in the picture with a ribbon cut.
All right, Lamar, you need to get those on that side that can move back to this side of the line over
If
here.
y'all can, well, everybody here is in the picture.
Well, you got some on the steps back there. That are-
Oh, a couple on the steps.
And then to the side.
And I also want to mention two other people. I'm sorry, I thought their name was on here, but they weren't. Peggy Deaton, who is my executive assistant, who has spent a lot of time working on this. We want to appreciate the Chamber of Commerce and other volunteers that are going to be here today from the Chamber. And also, Larry Garrett, I don't know, where's Larry? He always hides somewhere. Yeah, he's back in the corner, I figured that. Larry Garrett is really the main person who's kept this all together, kept it flowing, kept people moving, and kept them in positions in their offices when we had to have part of the people here, part of the people in Newport, the whole part. Larry's just been invaluable and saved the county taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars in getting this project done. So I want to really thank Larry. Let's give everybody a hand. And we're going to do the ribbon cutting, and then we'll start tours right here. And I see Pat. We talked about you earlier. I don't know if you were here, Pat. But Pat,
What'd
great.
you say?
We said a lot of good things about all the decorating and the court.
Those guys are all high.
Yep, get around over here. Jeff wasn't here earlier.
Let me just tell you, if you can see his camera and this camera with your eyes, you're in the picture. So if you need to move around and hide, I mean,
Two other people, I know I'm going to miss several people, but Mike, Dan and Mike at the top of the stairs in the uniforms, those guys have also, they're security here at the courthouse. They have worked all the time and continue to work, and we appreciate what they do.
hold on a second, we got a ring.
Okay.
Lamar, let's shoot 2 shots and then cut it. All right, Alan, need you to step up a little bit on the stairs. All right, Jeff. Jeff, you need to get, look, there you go, right there. Okay, now everybody look at me here.
I always have a fear of this.
Jim, if you'll move this way just a little bit. That's good. Merton, you'll move that way a bit. All right, everybody look, let me shoot one picture, make sure everybody's in here. All right, we're set. Cut when you're ready.
Cut when I'm ready.
Yeah, got it.
Pull it tight.
If there's anybody else that wants to say anything, please feel free. And also there'll be refreshments upstairs in the lobby of the old part of the building, which is now the new part.
The ceremonies were followed by an open house with a guided tour of the courthouse. Construction on the 30,000 square foot addition began last year and was completed this past spring. Since then, county offices have been operating out of the new section of the courthouse, while renovations were underway on the older section. The current courthouse, which replaced the one on the town square, was built in 1972, and a new courtroom was added in 1977. Commissioner Lamar Paris said that the courthouse expansion and the renovation project was done to meet the growing needs of a growing county.
We selected a local committee to choose an architect firm, and we had two main criteria. One is that we could build a new building, keep our existing building functioning while we did it. And number two, that we had to have adequate parking. And all the designs came through, and there were some really unique designs as far as court space, but nobody but Rosser had a design for parking that would carry us into the future. So we chose their design, Rosser International out of Atlanta, and Hayes James, Reed Dyer worked with them on the parking, and so that was the first thing we did. We started even before construction building our parking lot, and we hauled hundreds of thousands of yards of dirt in here to build the parking lot, but we knew that was the first thing that had to be done. So built the parking lot, then we let the contract, Merritt Construction got the contract out of Atlanta. They've been excellent to work with. The plans have been, the floor plan layout has been excellent. We built the new part. Then we had to move everybody from the old part into the new part, which was interesting because those offices and spaces were not designed for that. And then we started on the old building. The most interesting part that we've determined during this process is we found out how busy the tax commissioner's office was. And we found out that probably 75 to 80% of the people coming to the courthouse are looking for the tag office. It doesn't matter if it's tax commissioner, it doesn't matter what you call it, as long as you got a sign that says tag office. We found that that's where everybody has to go. And during construction, we had the whole end of the building, the old building, torn completely out, had barricades up, police tape around it, barricading it. People would still come into the new part, walk all the way around the building, and go in the old door into the tag office. There would be nothing in there. And they'd say, well, where's the tax commissioner's office? And of course, it was in the basement of the new part, the lower level of the new part. And we were just amazed at what lengths people would go to get back to where they'd gone, because they've been going there since 1972 to pay their tag bills. So that's really been an interesting feature of this whole process. The plan called for remodeling that end of the building, the old section, and it was built in two different stages. The end where all the offices were, where my office, tag office, was built in 1972, and then they came back in 77 and built the courtroom addition. So when we started examining what we were going to do, and the architects got a company to come in and inspect for asbestos, which you have to do now. With the old building, all the sheetrock tape was asbestos, which none of us had ever heard of. But nevertheless, we had to gut the building out. So once we found that out, that let the architect work with their plans more in redesigning everything, because they just took out doors, walls, and everything, because they had to come out anyway. So it made it easier, I think, for them to design that part of the building. But of course, initially we had everybody in this building. You know, we had in what was going to be what is now a jury assembly room, We had the tax commissioner and tax assessor. And then upstairs on this layer, of course, we had the courtroom. We had to have the election people in the grand jury room, so we had the board of registrars in the grand jury room. We had the magistrate court, Johnny Garman's office. Johnny Garman's office. We had it in what has turned out to be the public defender's office. We had the probate judge's office in what now is the DA's office. So it was just a fruit basket turnover when we finally got it all completed. We only built one new courtroom, but our new grand jury room is much larger than our old grand jury room, and so it's already being used as a courtroom as well. And then in the new philosophy in building courthouses is to build smaller courtrooms because they're the most expensive space you have in a courthouse. And then you build a jury assembly room, which is what we have in the lower level, which is just a big open room that you can bring about 200 jurors in. And it's just a big open room, simple to design and build. And you don't have to have a big courtroom like we've been accustomed to here, where all the juries come in and get selected. So now that, starting last week, I think it was the first time that we've used the new jury assembly room, and everything worked great. And we've had court last week. They had court going in the old courtroom, the new courtroom, the grand jury room, and then they had proceedings going on down in the jury assembly room. So all the spaces are functional to be used for a lot of different things. Of course, the courthouse has an elevator, and we're lucky in that we've got two grade level entrances. We got the new entrance off of the new parking lot, which is all handicap accessible, with all handicap accessible restrooms. And then we got the entrance that we've redone, the old entrance up close to the bridge, which also has handicap access, new ramps, and so it should be. We've had a couple of people. In fact, I had a gentleman in my office last week who was in a wheelchair, and I asked him if he'd been would go around the courthouse and see, and he was real pleased with it. So we feel like the architects did a real good